You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Well, let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Bork. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Wednesday, Fed Day, 19th day of June, 2019. Will he or won't he? What's the Fed going to do? Are we going to get a quarter point break, a quarter point cut? Are we going to get a half a point cut? Or is it going to be the greatest Fed fake of all time? I don't know. But we're going to find out here in less than 2 hours, about an hour and 52 minutes to go, and then we will know. Let me bring up a chart. There we go. S&P 500, Emini Futures. This is a daily chart. If you cannot see the chart, go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered in about 30 seconds, and that will give you one-click access to the show each and every day. On the days you find yourself out of the office, away from the desktop, just point your internet-connected device to youtube.com/CFRN/live. And there you'll find us live in real time, a simulcast of the show during the show, brought to you by the good folks at YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. Okay, we highlighted this area here and all across here as potential resistance. And in fact, the area did serve as good resistance on this test. And then we just been grinding here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trading sessions. And then yesterday, we broke free of the range, put in a swing high up at 29.3650. And so far today, we have an inside day. I dare say that by the time the day session closes today at 4 p.m. Eastern, we most likely will no longer have an inside day. If the market gets what it's expecting, what it's counting on, what is at this point, the quarter point rate cut, that's just kind of baked into the cake. It's already part of the equation. And when that happens, it's kind of dangerous, because on the off chance, and the whole purpose of Jerome Powell making the statement that he made now, I guess it's been 2 weeks ago, that he would do whatever it takes, was said to calm the markets, to quell any fears. Well, now that everyone has just taken it as the gospel that we're going to get a quarter point rate cut, anything less than that will send the markets into a tailspin, the very thing he was trying to avoid by assuring everyone that he would do whatever's necessary. Okay? I was quite surprised yesterday to see the volatility that we had Monday night going into, here's Globex Monday night. Is that correct? Sunday night. Sunday night and into Monday night. It started to get very, very quiet. And I posted in the Telegram channel, I posted this chart. And I said, this may very well be a long night. Well, we broke out of that little area of consolidation at a weekly trading zone. Now, today's Wednesday. Typically, I don't share the weekly trading zones with the entire audience, with the entire CFRN community, until Thursday. But because today is the day that it is, Wednesday, and it is the Fed day, I'm going to go ahead and share the weekly zones with everyone. Now, our partners and passport holders, they receive the weekly trading zones every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern in their inbox, before Wall Street wakes up, so that they are able to get them onto their charts for the S&P, the Dow, the Russell, the NQ, crude, gold, and that's it. That's enough. That's a lot. It takes a while. All right, so we popped up. Now, we had a Concierge Trade Alert on the 18th, which was Monday night, Tuesday night. What's today? Yeah. The Concierge Trade Alert came out Tuesday night. It was yesterday that it triggered at 4:30 a.m. Eastern, 2907. Consider being long. Market ran up 29.5 points. The swing high off of that was 29.3650. We did not get an exit signal until 29.2175. So the distance, we'll just use 29.21. 29.21 minus 29.07. 14 points. So the market made 29 points available from the entry to the swing high, but getting out of the swing high can be difficult at best. And so on an extended move such as this, our traders will wait for what we call the exit signal. And I showed you this yesterday. I'll show it to you again just real quick so you have an idea what I'm talking about. And there it is. Right there. Actually, you see this close here, 29.2175. Here's how the exit signal works. When the black step line gets on the right side of the CFMA1, it's the blue line here, we look for the first, on an up move, we look for the first down close or red candle below the step line after it crosses. You could argue that 29.2375, if you took this as your exit signal, you were correct. And if you took this one, you're correct also. This is kind of unusual. As you can see on this 30-minute candle, step line got on the right side of the CFMA1. Then it pulled back up to it, and it really didn't complete the cross until the next candle. So it's 2 points difference. So that's either 14 or 16 points. Now, there's nothing nebulous about that at all. Entry clearly defined. And the chart itself shows you the exit signal. So it's not a function of math. It's not some secret found in a cave in the desert somewhere in a clay urn. It's the chart. Now, you can get trading information from all kinds of places, websites and emails and gurus, indicators, oscillators, you name it. I found no better place to get my information than from the chart itself. If you think about that for just a moment, it's not having to pass through any filters. It's unfiltered, unadulterated info that you can use. The only thing you have to do is learn how to read the chart. The chart is providing you with valuable information all day long, around the clock. But unless you speak the language, it can be confusing at best. So we'll get more into this as the show progresses. I want to, well, here's the thing. Here's the rub. We're probably going to see nothing more than this right up until the Fed announcement. We do not trade news. We don't teach trading news. And the reason being is it's kind of like gambling, okay? Once upon a time, markets rallied on good news and fell on bad news. Not so much the case anymore. We often see markets rally on bad news, sell off on good news. Why? Because of the buy the rumor, sell the fact. Because just like with today, a quarter point interest rate cut is assumed already by many traders. So baked into the cake, as the saying goes. However, we don't know how traders will react. What if he does give us a half a point cut? That should certainly send the markets higher, and it will, until somebody somewhere has the crystal clear thought of, hey, wait a minute. He cut rates by a half a point? We must be in big trouble. He knows something we don't. And then the market careens in the other direction. So, as for us, we go flat ahead of news, especially something the size of a Fed announcement. We have news every, days, some mornings 8:30, most mornings around 10 a.m. We have some kind of economic report coming out. which can be high impact, medium impact. The ones you really want to watch out for are the high impacts. And if at all possible, there's just no reason to expose yourself till the news comes out and the market has a chance to react to the news. Then look for opportunity based on not what the news might be, not just what the news was, but how the markets are responding to the news, whatever it is, good, bad, indifferent. Was it baked into the cake, not baked into the cake? I don't know. Just going to wait for the market to present opportunity. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the numbers around the world. We'll start here in the U.S. These are cash markets. Stand by. Get some fresh data. If you have any questions, put them in the chat box. Those of you that are on the trial, on the open house this week, we began a discussion in the training room today about daily goals. Some people don't have a daily goal. Some people don't have a business plan when it comes to trading, a business plan or a trading plan. And those are two things that we feel are very important. Okay. So if you have questions regarding that, how do you create a business plan? What is a trading plan? What should my goal be? Of course, we cannot tell you what your goal should be. We can give you enough information that you are able to make a well-informed decision for yourself as to what is appropriate for you. Okay? If you have any questions regarding that, put them in the chat box. Okay, cash markets starting here in the U.S. The Dow currently up 26 points. NASDAQ down 1 point. S&P 500 up 1/4 of a point. And the Russell 2000 up 3/4 of a point. That is quiet trade. The patient has been sedated. Crude oil in the commodity basket down 11 cents, trading 53.79 last. Gold down $2.29, trading 13.4840 last. In the Asian markets at the close, Nikkei up 361 points. That's 1.75%. Shanghai up 27 points at the close. That's almost 1% for the Shanghai. And the Hang Seng, are you ready for this? At the bell, Hang Seng added 703 points. That's a gain of 2.5%. In the European markets at the close, FTSE was down 39. The DAX was down 23. The CAC actually posted a gain of 8.75 points. That gives us a green day in Asia, a mixed day in the UK, and thanks to the NASDAQ, it is a mixed day here in the US of A. Subject to change, we may see all green heading into this announcement. The only thing in the red right now is the NASDAQ. We expect nothing more than just some quiet sideways trade. We'll go to Michael now for a recap of what happened in the live training room. I don't want to hold him up. I don't know if he has an appointment, but I do have a little bit of news. 3 things I believe we're going to talk about when I come back. Employers can now pay salaries in Ether via crypto startup Bitwage. Now, a friend of this radio program, Patrick Byrne, CEO of Overstock.com, founder of Overstock.com, he's been paying his employees, those who choose to be paid in crypto, he's been paying them in crypto for a number of years, and so has Jeff B. up in Seattle, among many others. The other little bit of news, Coinbase is expanding their cryptocurrency Visa debit cards across Europe. And we're going to look under the hood of Facebook's new cryptocurrency that will launch next year, spring, I believe it is, Libra. Plus, we'll talk to John, and we'll take a look at alerts. All that and answers to your questions when we come back.
Okay.
Take it away, Mike.
All right. I will grab the charts then. And I do have a meeting, 1 o'clock every day. Well, for the next month anyway. Yeah, and I wanted to actually start early today because we got the FOMC coming.
It's all yours.
All right. You guys should be looking at my charts, and you are. And now let me bring this up. This. Okay. If you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial with us, go to the homepage at CFRN.net. Over here in the right-hand column, this is 5-day free trial. Apply.cfrn.net. Just click on that, and you will be sent to this page where all we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. And you can tell us the biggest trading challenge so we can tailor it to you. When I see things that you might be having trouble with, I'll try to better explain them during the free trial. And that's that. Today, we only had 5 trades today. Okay, the markets were a mess today. We didn't have anything on gold. Look at this. Look at this. We didn't do anything with gold today. It was just untradeable. It's just a mess. We didn't have anything with the euro. It was also a choppy mess all through here. Just a bunch of chop. And during the break, there's nothing. There's nothing here during the break. That's kind of it. On the crude this morning, when price was down here at the low of the day, I said, look for it to get back up to here, to 54.30. And it did that right after the crude inventories came out. Ran back up to 54.30, and I said, look for it to stick to that area. And it kind of did. Now, we picked up 5 ticks right there and 1 tick right here. Since then, during the break, it looks like it was really choppy during the break. Not much happening at all. Okay, wow, this is going to be a quick recap. Not going through the normal stuff. Okay, here we go. We had on the ES, we had a momentum short trade right here. It went exactly 8 ticks, but we locked in 4, and we got out with 4, and then we had a break even right there. And then, you can see it's just chop. It's just nasty chop going into the FOMC. Yeah, and that was it for the morning session. I thought it wasn't much. There wasn't much to it this morning. Sadly, the last couple of days, we had 6 trades yesterday, 3 trades the day before that, and 5 trades today. So this week, leading up to the FOMC, we've had 11, 14 trades. We've done that in a day, in 2 hours in the past. But it is what it is, guys. The market's really going to give what they're going to give, and we're not going to try to force any trades. All right. And like Dwayne was saying earlier, you have to set a goal, make it an achievable goal, and once you get that goal, especially on days like today, once you get that goal, then you should just step away from the markets. You know what I mean? Because today and yesterday, we got just about exactly the same thing. Yesterday, we had 15 ticks on gold, and we lost 4 on crude, so we're plus 110. Today, we had plus 4 on the ES and plus 6 on crude, so we were plus 110. That's going to bring down the daily average. But but anyway, today, right now, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page at CFRN.net, and over here in the right-hand column where it says 5-day free trial, click on apply.cfrn.net, and that will bounce you over here, where all we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Hit the send button, and then you'll be sent all the information you need to get into the live training room. Right? Get into the live training room for 5 consecutive business days. Right? Usually it's a little more than that, depending on when you get in. That's it. With that, we will pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park, Studio A, where Dwayne hopefully is currently residing, unless he's at the Keurig. But
I'm right here.
Okay. Okay. There you go.
And there we go. Okay. Recap of the recap.
Today it took 90 minutes and 4 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $100 per contract. 90 minutes. It's exactly 11 o'clock.
That's good bingo.
It is. It is. Trying to be consistent.
Okay, we started we had a question that circulated this morning in the live training room. We used the poll that's built into the GoToWebinar software. The only drawback or drawdown, as it would be, is that we lose the charts for just a moment. So I'm curious with this audience. We have a little different demographic here than we have on in the training room. Let me entertain you. I'm going to launch this and just see how the answers here compare to the answers we had there. Hang on. Create new poll. Multiple choice.
I'm curious to see too, because it's not the same group of people.
Multiple answers. Multiple choice for one answer. Oh, I see. Oh, we could structure that differently. I'll do it the same way I did it. Okay. Yep. Well, they make it real simple if you do the same one again. Okay, so save. Poll added to the webinar. Okay. Now, I want to remove this old poll and remove this old poll. There we go. Okay. Now I should be able to launch it. Oh, I see. I didn't select it. There we go. Okay, guys, you're going to lose the charts for just a second, and you'll see in its place a little pop-up. And here's what it's going to ask you. What is your daily goal point-wise for the ES? Now, you may trade a different market, but most people tend to gravitate towards the S&P 500 for a laundry list of reasons. Some that may be valid to some folks and others not. But you don't have to overthink this. Just participate in the poll, if you will, so that we can get a good sample of the audience. The question, what is your daily goal point-wise for the ES? There's 3 answers. 2 points, 5 points, or 10 points. There's no right or wrong answer, and this is completely anonymous. So just click your answer, and I'll be back in 60 seconds. Well, I'll still be here, but you won't see the charts. All right, here we go. Launch. Poll in progress. Now, Michael, are you still seeing the charts or not? No, I'm looking at my monitor now.
Nope, you just see the poll. John's out there, by the way, right now. Too.
Okay. All right, John, we'll be with you in just a second. Okay. 33% of the audience has voted or answered 2 points. 33% is at 5, and 33% is at 10.
What are the chances? What are the chances it'd be exactly
All right.
33%?
We've got about 20 more seconds left in the poll. If you haven't voted, it's on your screen. Just click one of the little radio boxes, 2, 5, or 10. And then after we talk to John, I'll discuss this with you and why your answer is important to you.
Lorenzo, have you taken the free trial? Are you in the open house right now? Because if you are, on Friday, you'll get an email telling you everything all about it. And the charts, if you have an account with Daniel's Trading, the charts are free. You have to pay. You have to pay for the exchange fees. It's $16 a month, I think. But other than that, if you have an account with Daniel's Trading, the charts are free.
Okay. All right. I'm going to close the poll. We had 40% of respondents said their daily goal is 2 points. 30% went with 5 points, and 30% went with 10 points. Let me check. Oh no, they'll still be available to me. All right, so I'm going to close the poll. Go back to the charts. And almost there.
Almost. Okay, I'm gonna
take off. Okay.
Yeah, that's a different thing. I'm gonna open up John's mic. Is what I'm gonna do. Okay. If you're
Valerie,
ready.
would you set Lorenzo up with a mentoring session, and I can go over all of this information and answer his questions for him?
There's John.
John, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Yourself?
Well, you heard it here first. We've talked about the possibility of the Dow going to 30,000 for quite a while. And, I think it's going to go to 32, 33,000 before this is all over. Might even go higher. But Yahoo just came out with an announcement this morning saying why the Dow Jones Industrial Average 30,000 may come very soon. And I added, and actually 33,000 may be closer to the ultimate highs for this potential forthcoming up phase. Mm-hmm. So that would be great, because the higher the Dow goes, the more likely Trump will be reelected with a landslide. And after last night's performance, I think, we'll be winning more and more people over, slowly but surely. And if we do get a 30,000 or higher, probably means unemployment's going to drop even further, maybe down to about 3.2%. And probably going to hit, pretty much all-time low. I mean, what they don't tell you when they say the unemployment level's at a 50-year low, it's really at an all-time low, because we've gone through this before, especially in terms of unemployment claims. If you adjust them out for the size of the economy back when they were previously at record lows, we've been making new lows in unemployment claims for the last 2 years, and that was published in Forbes about a year and a half, 2 years ago, explaining that. So it really looks like we're living in a unique time right now, and it's just, I mean, unfortunately, the average man in the street doesn't appreciate what it means to be living in the kind of economy we're living in today, where there's 1 million more jobs available than people. I mean, who would have ever thought? And in spite of automation and all the other things that are, potentially job killers, fact of the matter is still creating more jobs all the time. Now, we've got some issues to get over. We talked about this, the fact that the market peaked last October and went into a bit of a plunge, 4-month plunge. We're probably feeling the fundamental effects of that right now in the economy, and it might feel it even more in the next few months. We might see possibly a little bit of a pop in unemployment. The job creation might subside for a while, just like it did with this shocker announcement last month, but that could get fixed next month as well. But here's the thing. January, we bottomed in January. So 9 months out, August, September, the economy could be taking off again, into the fourth quarter, late third and fourth quarter. We could be really humming by the end of 2019 going into 2020. And not only that, if the Dow goes to 30,000 and the S&P goes to 32, 3,300, something like that, it's going to be anticipating an even stronger economy going into 2020. So if we do end the year, according to this article, we be hitting 33,000 or 30,000 rather, going into the end of 2020. So sorry, end of 2019 into 2020. If we're doing that well going into the end of the year, the odds are fairly high that we might pop another 5 or 10% in 2020 itself, being an election year, which can only help the economy even further. Perhaps reach peak performance by the fall of 2020, which would be ideal for re-election. And it could potentially, and look, there's still this stimulus deal. If that stimulus deal, if we can get to 30,000 or 33,000 without a stimulus deal, and get into 2020, and Trump gets reelected, and then they put the stimulus in 2021, or then we've probably got enough to sustain this economy into 2022. Without going south in a big way. As you know, I'm concerned after 2022, 23, 24, because in the second term, there's the worst case scenario is Trump doesn't get reelected. Gold probably goes to $2,000 or $3,000 an ounce, and the market might tank really badly. Incidentally, a few days ago, we suggested buying platinum at 800. In advance of a potential upside breakout, and we just hit 807 a minute ago. And I really believe the platinum. I know I've called the bottom a few times, and we call the top. We haven't had the mega run yet, but this may be the beginning of the mega run in platinum, because we appear to have put in, as we looked at it yesterday.
Yeah, I've got a daily chart up right now.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, the higher lows. Just to give people a little bit of perspective, why don't you put up Newmont Mining, NEM, and see the similarities to what happened to Newmont that might happen to platinum in the next few weeks and months.
There we go.
Look at how grim the situation looked down at $30 on Newmont, right? It wasn't unlike where platinum is today, except platinum's actually a better chart than that, because we have had higher lows. So even though they've tried to bang the platinum down, in a perfect world, you'd want to, just like the soybeans, you'd want to have a spike bottom and a big reversal that created this incredible rally we've been in right now. But the platinum chart, just being the way it is, if you can go back to that, it's probably a reasonably low risk buy right now, and it certainly was at 800 a few hours ago. So, and the gold, they're banging the dollar. The dollar for some reason broke down overnight. It's not, obviously with the Fed, we don't know what the dollar's going to do this afternoon. If the dollar goes up on the Fed, it's going to probably cause the gold to pull back a bit. But the difference, whatever happened with Draghi, whatever he did in the last few days, initially it had a negative impact on the euro currencies. But as we've said a few times, look to be buying the dips, because sometimes when you get a one or 2 day reaction and then it reverses, it could be signaling something much bigger, a possible new trend. And look at the pound. A couple of days ago, it was in the 125. It was looking, and we even said it looked pretty grim on the chart. Look at it today. It just hit, almost hit 127 again. So and the euro is looking quite impressive, and so is the Swiss.
Here's the
And look at that. Yeah,
daily.
look at that chart of the pound. Didn't make a lower low, and potentially this thing could explode higher here. I mean, look, Boris Johnson is likely he's sort of the leading contender to be the PM, and I'm all for that. But he's not the perfect PM because a lot of people don't want, I mean, right now the pound's being knocked down because the perception is being outside of euro is bad for the pound. It could be the exact opposite of that. So the pound has gone from 120 to $2 more than once in its life, and it might be ready to do the same thing again. And the pound is going to be very important because if it starts leading the way higher, we suddenly get back up to 133, 134. This pound could double the range from there, and we could be back to 140 or 150 before you know it. And the pound has an advantage over the European currencies because, that's one of the reasons why Britain is booming, because with a weaker pound has made it very competitive with Europe. So, and eventually, nothing lasts forever, including a strong dollar. So we're a weak pound, and we could be looking at a whole new ball game here in the European currencies. And look, Draghi actually coming out and saying he's going to, stimulate Europe is potentially bullish for the currencies, really, because if Europe, if he revs up those economies, that's the only thing that Trump kind of got wrong with his tweet is, why is he knocking Draghi for boosting Europe? I'd be saying bring it on, because whatever boats rise in the world can only help the U.S. If Europe rises, it helps the U.S. If China rises, it's going to help the U.S. So because we're in a kind of a global economy where if all the countries are rising and getting stronger and richer, ultimately it helps the U.S. As well. They buy more planes. And by the way, Boeing, we called the bottom a few days ago, said it looked like the lows were in. And a couple of days ago, it was like 13 billion to nothing. Airbus got an order for 13 billion, and all of a sudden, right out of the blue, an order you almost couldn't predict. They just got an order for 200 Max, 737 Maxes. So that's an incredible confidence booster for Boeing. And I'd say it won't be too long before Boeing might be hitting new highs again, because when you've been through an experience like this, even though the chips are down and everything and doesn't look too good, companies get past it, and it's, as long as the planes are flying again and there's no other issues, it'll soon be forgotten about. And I'm sure they got to listen. Their order books, you can't get a plane delivered for 10 years. They've got an order book that's about 10 years long. So the company's in fantastic shape, and they've got so much work to do and so many deliveries. They not including all the defense stuff that the institutions take advantage of a dip like this that's kind of an anomaly, and it means you can buy Boeing today at 300 instead of 400, and perhaps not too long it'll be 400 again. We're heading to 400. So the gold is breaking out over 1350 right now. It just they haven't been able to hold it down. It keeps creeping higher. It keeps coming back, rebounding. The silver is pretty much at 15, just shy of 15. If the gold and silver react this afternoon and end up going higher, $10 or $20 higher, we could be seeing a lot. We might be in for some sort of, depending on what the Fed says, we might be in for some kind of a real big update, or it might be the reverse. You just can't tell. I don't think the gold is going to react too negatively today, but you never know. But the way it is, I was kind of anticipating a bit of a. If I remember a few days ago, I said it's probably going to rally into the Fed meeting, given the way gold's been acting lately. And the last time that happened, we had a pretty strong follow-through kind of move. thereafter. So maybe that's what will happen today. You probably know it because of if the gold stocks all of a sudden start rising strongly.
Up,
same thing. Yeah. Now JNUG has been kind of the weakest in the group, but it's not that far away from $10. And if it takes $10, I think you might see a pretty big move up in JNUG. Maybe 10-20%. Getting it back into the 12-13 zone, and that will put it closer to the highs of the year than the lows. Same with the nugget, and we just had a look at Newmont Mining a minute ago. It just looks incredible. So the fact that all these gold stocks are acting so strong, and the fact that the dust and the J dust are acting so weak, tends to be supportive of the idea that gold is going to continue to go higher for the next few months. The only thing that I would say is dogging gold right now is seasonals, because usually in the summer months we see a bit of a weakness in June,
and then we
July.
perk up in August when the Indian wedding season comes
well, that's
about.
the thing. We're actually in a kind of an up phase. So this is a bit of an anomaly. We're almost getting a kind of a summer rally in gold for the first time in years. And secondly, if maybe July, well, we don't know yet where we're going to be in the next few days, but if we suddenly find ourselves at 1400, maybe we'll have a bit of a pullback in July and then really get going in August, September. So and it may be even bigger than that. We just don't know yet. There's too many things influencing it. But I think something's happened with the gold, and whether it's the Fed and the fundamentals and the threat of inflation and the tariffs and everything else, because even though a lot of these tariffs only got, started in the last few months, the effects of them haven't really shown up in the inflation numbers just yet, but they could do in the next few months. And obviously, if we get 3 or 4% inflation in the PPI and the CPI, that could be supportive of higher prices in gold as well. The other thing is the palladium, which we talked about. We've been super bullish on palladium. I said looks like it's going to go to new all-time highs, and it's just acting fantastic. I mean, it was 1,300 not so long. Yeah, it was 1,300 not so long ago, and now it's just hitting 1,500 again. It's just incredible. And I mean, look at that. That's going to help platinum as well. And if we do go to all-time highs, if you put it on a weekly, try the weekly.
Okay.
The weekly.
There's
look at that. I mean, it's a really bullish chart. It kind of looks like this thing could go to 1,900, maybe even 2,000, and that'll lift platinum out of the doldrums for sure. And it'll lift the metals too. So it's an incredible story what's going on with palladium. And the hostility with Russia, or the disagreements, tariffs, and all the rest of it. Putin could do something similar to what they're threatening to do with rare earths in China. Maybe restrict the palladium, and maybe that could bring more. Maybe that could help platinum a lot, because at some point, platinum, if it's going to conform to a traditional gold bull market, at some point, platinum is going to become, be in the limelight again, and become the favored, the anointed metal, if you like. And remember, so platinum hit 2,200 back in 2008 or 9, and certainly could go there again, especially if palladium goes there. So, it's all kind of falling into place. And when you look at the run up in palladium, in 3 years we've gone from 500 to tripled in price. It certainly makes one think, what happened to platinum? Why is platinum, underperforming so much? At some point, maybe the roles will be reversed.
Yeah, it's possible.
And even as we speak right now, we're just starting to see Nugget firm up here. Remember, Nugget is like the GDX. It's the creme de la creme of all the gold companies. So all of the golds are turning higher, with about an hour to go before the Fed meeting.
Yep, we got 1 hour and 6 minutes to go.
Say again, sorry.
We got just an hour and 6 minutes until the Fed announcement.
Just 1 second.
Sure, go ahead. Okay. All right. While John's taking that call, let me go back to the. Well, as you can see on the S&P, I mean, we could talk this thing to death. It's not really going anywhere. Similar, exact same story for the Dow, Russell, NQ, Crude. There's gold. Copper may be putting together a move. If you're not familiar with copper, copper pays $250 per penny of movement. Let's look at it on a daily for a second. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Now this swing low on the daily chart here back in January, that's down at 256. Now we've got a higher low and another higher low. This thing is trying to turn itself around. Initial thought is that an opportunity exists from where we sit right now back to the swing low of yesterday's candle, 264.35. So there's definitely a couple of pennies, a couple of pennies in this potential move here. Let's go back to a 30 and I can show you a little better. Yeah. Go. So we're approaching the 38% Fibonacci retracement from the low put in June 17th, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, to the swing high put in yesterday at 11 a.m. Eastern. We're approaching the 38, which is basically 267.5. Now, if we take out 26730. to 26635. It's a penny. It's $250 per contract traded. But with this Fed announcement coming up, and I know that copper is not directly related to the financial markets, but it is, you know, all roads lead back to the same place. So I would typically put out kind of a radio freebie here, but we're going to pass today because of the Fed. All right, back to the S&P. Hey, just going to roll sideways there. Let me go over that little bit of news that I talked about earlier. Bitwage is a startup that helps companies pay their employees in cryptocurrency and has now added Ether as a payroll option. Reminder, tonight, Wednesday night, we do have our Crypto Portfolio Builders class. If you are crypto curious, if you're looking into investing in the crypto space, we have a Wall Street guy that is walking us through the process of putting together not a trading portfolio, but a investment, a longer term investment portfolio. He believes, I believe, many of us believe, lots of people way smarter than me believe that compared to the internet, the crypto space right now, it's kind of like 1995, 96. Imagine knowing what you know now. Then, go ahead, John.
So, sorry, go ahead. Well, you go ahead. You were saying something.
Oh, no. I was just talking to them about crypto in general and where we're at right now in the grand scheme of things compared to the internet back in 95. Let's take a look and see where we are today on Bitcoin. We're back up over 9,000. Bitcoin, BTC, US dollar. There we go. Yep, 9,100. So that's weekly. Let's go to daily. Any thoughts on the crypto space, John?
It's going pretty well.
Well, this Facebook thing, gives it more legitimacy than everyone, and I was part of the everyone. We believed that when the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and the Chicago Board of Options, when they came out with futures contracts on crypto, on Bitcoin, that was going to be the huge, seal of approval, legitimacy, all of that. And while it happened to a degree, it only touched those people who even know what a futures contract is. That's a small percentage of the population. But everybody knows what Facebook is. And so now that Mark Z is putting his seal of approval on the crypto space through their cryptocurrency, Libra.
Who's putting the seal of approval on?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, okay, Mark Z. Sorry, I didn't get that for a minute.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Right.
Yeah, so we're over 9. Question is that everyone's asking is, when will we take out 10? Not only when will we get above it, but when will we get above it and hold it on a pullback?
We could go to about 11 or maybe even 12 on this run. It's pretty strong.
Yeah, it does look good.
Yeah. But after that, there might be a pullback, it might be in a new range from 8 to 12, perhaps, could go up to 12 and maybe pull back after that.
What we don't want to see is another parabolic move like this, because almost all parabolic moves end just like this one ended. So
yeah, well, actually, what I was just thinking of it's if you without going back to the levels where you started recommending it, which is off the left-hand chart, left-hand side of the page. I was actually watching a thing about the Winklevoss twins. I think it was on something over the weekend, and these guys got in heavy when it was about $8 or $9, or it was still in single digits.
Right.
I think you were in the single digits in the cents, if I remember.
Yeah,
rightly.
we first started talking about it when it was you could buy it with pocket change.
Yeah. So kudos to you for that. But I mean, you were really early on this thing, because you were like beginning of time, and it really is remarkable that you got onto this as early as you did. And told a lot of people about it too. But it kind of looks like an IPO. It's a bit like the Chinese IPOs. You had Baidu. And Baidu in particular, had a big run up, and then it came back and tested it for a while and bottomed out, and then it had the real move up, and that could still be the future of Bitcoin. But in a way, this new thing with Facebook could potentially put Bitcoin out of business. As could a gold.
Yeah, I think it complements it more than it threatens it. That's just my take.
For now.
Yeah.
But ultimately, a gold Bitcoin. I mean, if you think about this, I think this is very valid, and especially with the way the Bitcoin thing is shaping up. It's sort of the Bitcoin thing is like the 1920s when there had 150 car companies. They had all these ICOs, and then they all shook out, and there was only a few left standing, just like GM and Chrysler and Ford and things. So remember the big boom in gold going into 2011 was powered by the ETFs in a big way, and the ease of buying gold and things like that, and the amount of money that went into gold to satisfy the ETFs and stuff, and how much gold they had to buy. Today, if we do get a big run up to sort of 1700 or back to the highs, that's when the gold backed Bitcoin could be just what's the word?
Revolutionary.
Yeah, exactly. It could be just what the doctor asked, ordered, and that could be the sort of thing that could power gold ultimately to $8,000 or $9,000. So, and it would be a very important future reserve of a way of holding assets, because depending on how the world pans out in the future, there may be a time when there are no safe havens because of one thing or another, and especially inflation. Imagine, you turn the clock back to pre 1,000,000% inflation in Brazil, in Venezuela, and you had a 100% reliable gold-backed Bitcoin. That could be something, and you got 2,000 billionaires worldwide. If anything ever like Venezuela happens to the Western economies, which is quite possible in the next 8 years or so, you would have a vehicle, a new form of money that where you could basically invest in something that you can pretty much pick up anywhere you want in the world, or use anywhere in the world.
That's true.
And that's a gigantic, that's a quantum leap forward. It's like one giant leap for mankind. It really is.
And the focus, the initial focus anyway, of the Facebook cryptocurrency Libra is not towards the high end of the food chain. Not the billionaires or the millionaires or the hedge funds, but the opposite end of the spectrum, the unbanked. Currently, there are, I just had the number right here, where Facebook, their focus is on remittances. In other words, people who come to the U.S., from Mexico, just as one example. These people, many of them don't come here to be criminals. Many of them actually do come here just to find a good job, or any kind of job, a job that pays them something, and they send a large percentage of their money back to Mexico, back to their family. And the fees for these remittances are in the billions of dollars per year. And Facebook is going to just change that whole space. I don't know if Western Union or MoneyGram, if either one of them are publicly traded or tied to a publicly traded entity, I would probably consider shorting those at this point, because their business model, it's going to go away. Many people.
Sorry, which ones are those?
Western Union.
Right.
MoneyGram. These companies that make their money off these remittances, as they call them. For many people around the world, even basic financial services are still out of reach. Almost half of the adults in the world don't have an active bank account. And those numbers are worse in developing countries, and even worse beyond that for women. The cost of that exclusion is high. For example, approximately 70% of small businesses in developing countries lack access to credit, and $25 billion is spent by migrants every year in remittance fees. $25 billion. That's money just sitting on the table waiting for Facebook to take it. Now, many of these people who don't have bank accounts, and I know this from my experience in Africa, and it's the same in many parts of the world, all over the world, they don't have enough money to maintain the minimum account balances. Their income, what money they have, can be sporadic at best. And many of them simply don't have proper identification to open a traditional bank account because they were born in a mud hut, on the savannah somewhere. They don't issue birth certificates there. And so it's very difficult. But if they can get their hands on an $8 cell phone, and those do exist in Africa, $10 cell phone, and buy one of those little cards so that you can put some airtime onto that phone, boom, now you have Facebook, and boom, now you have what will serve the same purpose, as a bank account. This is a big thing. This is something that everyone's talked about. We've talked about it with CTG, a CT Global coin. I mean, it's everything that we've talked about all along the way. The difference, of course, being that Mark Zuckerberg already has. Well, on WhatsApp, he's got 1.5 billion active monthly users. Globally, 1.7 billion adults remain unbanked. The companies that are part of this Libra association, Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, Uber, Lyft, Coinbase. Customers interested in holding or transferring Facebook's newly announced Libra token will be given a number of options to do so. The initial focus will be on international remittances. The balance will show up in the account in the whatever local fiat currency you use. So you'll be sending and transmitting this Libra cryptocurrency, but it will show up in your account. If you're a U.S. citizen, it'll show up as dollars and cents. This is quite a big thing. Let's see, what kind of effect does it have on the stock today? We're down yesterday. Let's see. Yeah, we had a gap lower open again today. Now, that's for those who don't speak candle speak, that's called dark cloud cover right there, which is very surprising in light of this news, because I've heard no one have anything but good things to say about this development with Facebook. I've heard no negativity whatsoever. I'm sure there's plenty out there. I just haven't heard it yet. So I'm surprised to see this pattern setting up. We'll see what happens over the next couple of days. And more importantly, we'll see what's going to happen today. Do you think the Fed might go as far, John, as a half a point?
I doubt it. I think they'll go a quarter if they're going to do anything.
Do you
They
think
may only talk.
what do you-
Talk. I mean, the expectations are they're not going to do anything, but they might say they're going to be ready to cut or something like that. That could be just as powerful as a. I mean, right now we're seeing a little bit of a pullback, but this is normal before a Fed announcement. And as I said,
if we don't get at least a quarter point today, this
yeah,
market's
if we get a cut, that would be epic. This push it'd probably be huge. There's no have a dramatic effect.
I don't think he has any choice, because the whole reason for him making the statement that he made, Jerome Powell, was to calm the market fears. We'll do whatever it takes. Well, the market has now taken that and turned it into a promise, into a guarantee, into a belief that rates will be cut today. And I think he realizes that if he doesn't cut at least a quarter point today, then, well, as I said, this thing goes in the toilet, at least for the day, maybe the rest of the week.
Yeah, it's probably going to spike down and then recover. If I don't. We'll just have to see.
I'll be real surprised if he doesn't give up.
Not.
At least
I mean,
a
what you're
quarter.
saying is not. Is logical. I mean, if he disappoints, then the market could react.
Yeah. But the reaction will be temporary, and if he were to go to the other end and actually give a half a point, which many people out there are talking about now, thinking that he's going to just, because everybody says he's so far behind the curve, he did too much too quick in the other direction, that the smart thing would be to go ahead and do a half a point. And so if he did that, and I'm not saying he will, but if he does that today, the markets will rejoice. They'll be dancing in the street. But tomorrow morning, when everybody wakes up with a hangover, they're going to go, hey, wait a minute, a half a point? What does he know that we don't know? Wow, there must be something really bad out there. So, hey, but that creates volatility, and as traders, that's all we need. We just need the market to move in one direction or the other.
Look, the grains are pulling back a little bit today, so there's a possibility that even the metals, the gold, and they've obviously been running up in anticipation of a Fed development. So if they, the metals could be, the copper even, the copper had a good run up, and now it's pulling back again. Not too much, but
well, I was just looking at that a moment ago, and on copper, I think we've taken back. I drew fibs from the low.
I mean,
on
copper,
the
based on the copper alone, the Fed should be lowering rates because the copper is a really sensitive indicator, and it's definitely portending a weaker economy. But yes, the last few days were pretty epic because the Chinese market, the emerging markets and everything, really had a tremendous increase in the last few days, and most stocks along with them. And by the way, the health sector is probably, I think the bottom is in on the health, on the pharmaceuticals now, and they could be a big part of the next move upwards in the market. Listen, on the Dominican Republic situation, I got a few comments. One of the things that, first of all, the bootleg liquor, there's people in these hotels who probably are responsible for buying liquor and putting these liquor things, dispensers in the rooms and all that. You never know what they could get up to. They might be buying, bootleg liquor or not authentic. They apparently, that before, like a year ago or maybe 2 years ago, there was 5 people died from drinking bootleg liquor, and they shut down about 5 plants that were producing
I didn't know
clandestine stuff. Yeah, and I mentioned this right early in the get-go. Remember, I said this: we could be making Scotch whiskey down there before you know it. Things like that. So, but the news came out yesterday in the last couple of days about this group of Jimmy Buffett fans. There's about 47 of them in a group, and they all came down with something, either from swimming in the pool or from eating. And there's been a few restaurant, food poisoning issues and things. Being the DR being where it is, and I've spent some time there. Actually lived, not quite lived there, but I've been stayed there for quite a while, in a house and stuff. These tropical places are very subject to cryptosporidium and other things in the water. Especially Brazil, you get these things that can get on your legs when you go in a river and can play havoc with your health. They can kill you. But the cryptosporidium is what came to mind because there's a series out on YouTube called Monsters Inside Me. This is all about parasites.
I think I've heard about that, yeah.
Oh,
I haven't seen it, though.
Well, it's worthwhile watching a few of these because they make you, the problem with parasites is most of the time when people go in for ailments, the doctors it's very hard to identify these parasites. Cryptosporidium is one of them. It's not a killer necessarily, but, if it was maybe affiliated, because you don't know what the water or whether the purity of the water or the drinks that they're dispensing. You don't know if that's using contaminated water or something. So but there was this case some time back where in Santa Barbara a whole bunch of doctors, anesthetists, I think they were, went to a big convention there, and every one of them came down with this tremendous, they were spending days in their rooms throwing up and everything. And it turned out that they all ate a salad or lettuce that had been grown in Guatemala, and they eventually figured it out, and that's how that they all came down with this thing. And it sounds like these people in the Jimmy Buffett group had the same thing. They either got it from the pool or something out of the pool because I think they all swam, or they got it from the restaurant or from the dinner or something like that. So, these are the classic symptoms of the cryptosporidium type of experience that they came down with, you know. So that is it's certainly an enigma. But I think the liquor thing, as we talked about, the pesticide, which is a real big problem, kind of pesticides they might be using down there, and it's not. Look, the problem is the pesticides remains in the room, you know, when they fumigate these things. You know, you don't know how long that stuff lingers in there. And also, if they're using window-type air-conditioned units, which sometimes they do in those places, if they were spraying plants outside and it came in through the air conditioner, that's another thing that could have happened. But it's all over the country. I mean, another fellow died in Sosua, which is in the northeast, and then Punta Cana, and then La Romana. I mean, they're all you know, it's everywhere.
Well, Ebola has hit Uganda now, and so of course we have
Hit where?
in Uganda.
Oh, really?
They're having a problem there. Yeah, so we have some concerns.
That's bad. I mean,
It really is.
because they thought I had it knocked out a while back and then came back again. So, you know, the last Ebola scare we had, when a few people showed up with it in the U.S.
And of course, that brings its own concerns with these new migrants that we see showing up here in the U.S. from Africa, which is not something that you typically would see. Africa's porous borders make it difficult to contain Ebola. Health workers in Uganda cleared to use experimental Ebola treatments. So far, none of our people have been affected. So. It's the
That's good to know.
first confirmed case in Uganda during the Ebola outbreak, ongoing in neighboring Democratic Republic of the Congo. No, that's a very unforgiving land, I'll tell you. It's beautiful. It's called the Dark Continent for a reason. That's for sure.
Well, I told you my mother was born in Uganda, so
Yeah, you did.
you know,
Yeah,
she
that's
survived. And I lived in Kenya for about like 10 years or something when she was a teenager. So, you know, my grandfather was chief engineer of East African Railways at the time. Kind of a pioneer out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what did he do?
He built that railroad that was in the movie Out of Africa. That was from Nairobi to Mombasa.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that. I have some pictures here that just came in yesterday from Uganda, but they're not loading up properly. Well, maybe I'll show them to you tomorrow.
Yeah. Have you been to Jinja, Dwayne?
I haven't, no.
Yeah, that's where she was born, Jinja, Uganda. So,
Let's see here. Oh, I can't get this picture thing to work right. We built some guest cottages there at the orphanage because we have a lot of ministry teams that come to spend time and to do work. And so, because the orphanage, well, it's not so bad now. The orphanage it used to be about a 2-hour drive outside of town, even though it's only 20 miles because the roads are so bad. But due in part to some of the improvements that we did in the area, the government actually came in and paved the road. But we built these little guest cottages so that people could stay on the orphanage property
they look pretty nice.
And not, yeah, they came out real well.
Pretty sturdy.
Yeah, that wasn't one of them there. I don't know where that picture came from. That's like a hotel room somewhere. Oh, this was New Year's Eve. I have a video of that. It's very compelling.
Cost of thousands.
This
There.
is the church. Yeah, this is the church there. Can you hold for me just 1 second, John?
Sure.
I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, these aren't the pictures I was looking for, but I mean, this is the type. Well, this is the type of stuff we have going on there. Anyone in the audience, whoever wants to, if you've never been to Africa, I encourage you to go. If you need a place to go to and a place to stay, get a hold of me. We love hosting ministry teams. You can go by yourself, go with a spouse. You can take your whole church. The kids love to have visitors. Oh, yeah, yeah. You know, and that's the amazing thing. People starve to death. And if you reach down and just grab a handful of the dirt and look at it, it's some of the richest soil, nutrient-rich soil that you'll ever find. But yet people go hungry. It's just hard to fathom. Oh, we got some goats now. We've had cows for a while.
Bananas, keep you going. There's many of them.
That's my wife right there, John.
Oh, it's very good.
That's Agnes, Pastor Chris's wife. Her and Chris were raised under the reign of Idi Amin. I mean, they grew up with that hanging over their head. Yeah, quite something. All right. Anything else you want to cover?
No, listen. Thanks very much for the invite. We'll see how we go this afternoon.
Yeah. What are we down to? About 35 minutes.
Yeah, about that. So.
Okay. We'll see you on the other side.
All right. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thanks, John. Bye-bye. Okay, guys. I was starting to go over a little bit of news with you, and I've really covered quite a bit of it. But let me explain this Bitwage again. Bitwage, a startup that helps companies pay their employees in cryptocurrency, has added Ether as a payroll option. Announced Monday, companies that want to offer tax and HR compliant Ether benefits can sign up to offer it as a benefit to employees. The company has been providing direct deposits of Bitcoin since 2014 and currently serves over 30,000 workers. Employees, freelancers, and independent contractors can receive from their clients or employers any percentage of their fiat obligations due to them in crypto. Let's say you don't want to get your whole paycheck in crypto, but you think it's a wise investment, so perhaps you want 25%. If your paycheck is routed through this startup Bitwage, you can elect what percentage you want to go into your traditional bank account as fiat currency, and what you want to go into your wallet as Bitcoin, and now Ether. The company has experimented with the Ethereum ecosystem since 2017. CTG is built on the Ethereum blockchain, including launching the consulting services firm Enwage, which built several projects on the second largest blockchain. This includes the Mariah initial coin offering, which raised $50 million, and a pilot project for a major insurance company that leverages Ethereum for audit trail capabilities. When Bitwage was founded 5 years ago, the CEO, Jonathan Chester, says he realized that merchants were already accepting Bitcoin, but there was no way for employees to get paid in Bitcoin as well. Chester said in a statement, "Our goal was to close the financial loop. The company currently processes $2.5 million US dollars in monthly volume for contractors and full-time employees." Bitwage provides two payment services: direct deposit, in which employees have part of their salaries sent to the company to be exchanged for crypto automatically through dollar cost averaging, which is something we preach as part of CryptoPortfolioBuilders.com. Again, we have a class tonight, a Wednesday night class, 8 p.m. Eastern. Reach out to Val, support@cfrn.net if you'd like an invitation. If you're already on our list, you'll get an email invitation later this afternoon. Now, though the company Bitwage makes a spread on the exchange, there is no fee for the basic service. There is also a premium version which provides payments sooner and costs $15.99 per month, $16. Square offers a similar service where an employee's direct deposit goes to the payments platform, but the employee has to manually swap it for Bitcoin. Coinbase allows automatic monthly purchases of crypto out of a customer's bank account. Several blue chip companies have employees that currently use Bitwage to automatically convert their cash salaries into crypto. These blue chips include Amazon, Google, and Apple. Additionally, many gig workers for Uber, Caviar, and DoorDash also utilize the service. Bitwage clients can have up to 2 payment distributions per pay period in either fiat or crypto as a non-premium user, or 3 for premium users. The company has received around $1 million in total funding from such investors as Draper Associates, Candela Reach Capital, and BPI France. Cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase has expanded its Visa debit card service to 6 European countries, allowing customers in the region to spend their digital assets. According to a report from CNBC, the Coinbase card is now available for users in Spain, Germany, France, Italy, Ireland, and the Netherlands. With the card, customers are able to spend their cryptocurrency assets, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, in both online and physical stores that accept the Visa logo. Coinbase first rolled out a cryptocurrency Visa debit card in April, exclusively for users based in the UK at the time. Customers are not directly paying merchants with crypto assets. Instead, Coinbase charges a fee to help convert users' cryptocurrencies into a fiat currency. The euro is the new offering. And one that we've already talked about, Facebook, Libra. If I could only say 2 words, I would say big deal. You don't have to have a Facebook account to use Libra. That's the hands-off approach the social media giant is working towards as it announces its new blockchain and the token of the same name that will run on top of it. While the announcement that we got yesterday is still early, the scope of the project is far-reaching. It includes a new Facebook subsidiary, Calibra, and an independent consortium, Libra Association, backed by some of tech's biggest names. Implied in this project is that wherever the Visa or MasterCard logo are accepted, Libra will follow suit. According to the head of policy and communications for the Libra Association, in so many ways it's a great leap forward for cryptocurrencies and in many respects a mainstreaming of this asset class. As I mentioned earlier, companies participating in the Libra Association, there's 28 of them, some of them Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, Uber, Lyft, and of course Coinbase. Calibra will develop financial services and products around the Libra network, which will eventually be fully governed by the independent Libra Association. Calibra intends to start with a digital wallet for the Libra coin, which will let users transfer funds to each other as well as store their tokens locally. Notably, customers will be able to access the wallet functionality through a new standalone app on iOS and Android, or through Facebook's Messenger and WhatsApp services. The Libra blockchain is expected to launch in full sometime next year. You did hear WhatsApp in there, and Telegram is also coming out with their own cryptocurrency. Okay, we've got about 27 minutes to the Fed announcement. Our recommendation is to be flat ahead of this. If we get a rate cut, we should see volatility. If we don't get a rate cut, we should see volatility. Either way. So it will create opportunity, but let the market get the whipsaws out of its system first, and then we'll do our very best to, of course, alert you to the opportunities as they develop via Telegram. Good word for the day. It's that time. It's that time for me to find my notes. Okay. Ephesians 2:6. He raised us up with Christ and gave us a seat with him in the heavens. Now, this is about being an up person. I'm sure you know what that is. You certainly know what a downer person is, right? They walk into a room, they're black, they got a personal black cloud. It follows them in, and pretty soon it's drizzling on everybody in the room. These things are very infectious, contagious, if you will. Good attitudes and poor attitudes. They really do carry a lot of weight. And depending upon your personality and the type of influence that you have in your family, in your office, we would all do well to just strive to be an up person. In order to become an up person, you must do these three things. Number one, expand your concept of God. Well, how do I do that? By reading his word and getting to know him better. Be like the little boy in Sunday school whose teacher asked what he was drawing. His answer was God. The teacher said, but nobody knows what God looks like. The little boy replied, they will when I'm finished. That's for you, little boy. So, let me ask, as you're drawing your own picture, and we all are from the day we understand the concept of God, what's your God like? Loving or judgmental? Distant or available? Limited or powerful? Your concept of God will determine your confidence in God. So I can't encourage you enough to spend some time getting to know him. Number two, recognize the enemy's limitations. The enemy is the world's oldest loser, a former employee of heaven who got fired because of arrogance and who is headed for destruction. And the only power he has over you is the power you give him by remaining ignorant of his devices. 2 Corinthians 2:11. The Bible says in James 4:7, submit yourselves therefore to God, resist the enemy, and he will flee. It doesn't say we have to fight. It doesn't say we have to knock him out. In fact, God clearly says, this is my battle, not yours. We have the power. See, all we have to do is resist. Just resist. We have power over the enemy given to us by God because of what Christ did on Calvary, but we have to exercise that authority. Number 3, we all need to see ourselves as God sees us. There's a great song, popular right now, on the radio. You Say lyrics. Look at that. I won't attempt to sing this. I'll spare you that. But you should Google this and listen to it if you've not heard it. It's quite a good song. I keep fighting voices in my mind, boy, ain't that the truth, that say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low? Remind me once again just who I am, because I need to know. You say, now this is referencing scripture. This is talking about what God has to say about us. You say, I am loved when I can't feel a thing. You say, I am strong when I think I am weak. You say, I am held when I am falling short. When I don't belong, oh, you say that I am yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. Alexa, play You Say. I forgot
Here's
about
You Say
this.
by Lauren Daigle on Amazon Music.
You're in for a real treat.
I keep fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low? Remind me once again just who I am, because I need to know. Ooh, oh, you say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I am strong when I think I am weak. And you say I am held when I am falling short. And when I don't belong, oh, you say I am yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe the only thing that matters now is everything you think of me. In you I find my worth, in you I find my identity. Ooh, you say I am loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I am strong when I think I'm weak. And you say I am held when I am falling short. When I don't belong, oh, you say I am yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. Oh, I believe. Taking all I have and now I'm laying it at your feet. You'll have every failure, God. You'll have every victory.
And that's our good word for the day. All right, we got about 15 minutes to the Fed. Grab some popcorn, climb up in the stands, and I'll see you after the big event. Remember, CryptoPortfolioBuilders.com class tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you don't have an invitation, reach out to Val, support@cfrn.net, or give her a call, 949-42-EMINI, and she'll take good care of you. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.